ago, I signed a piece of paper that ended my marriage, and I thought I closed the book on Travis Fowler for good. I did not know that book had a chapter I hadn't been shown. I am a grade 4 teacher. I spend my days making sure 26 9-year-olds understand fractions and long division. I am careful with numbers. I check things twice. And yet, for 4 years of my marriage and 3 years after it ended, I trusted one number completely without ever verifying it myself: the value of Travis's construction company. He told me the year we split that the business was barely breaking even, overextended on equipment, a bad year for contracts. "There's nothing there to fight over, Denise," he said, sitting across from me at the kitchen table where we used to eat dinner as a family. I believed him. I had no reason not to. I signed the settlement. I kept the house. He kept the company that he told me wasn't worth keeping. I want to tell you how I actually found out, because it is not the story you're expecting. I did not hire a forensic accountant. I did not go digging through his records out of suspicion. I found out because of a phone call that had nothing to do with me at all. Rosario Chen is a private investigator. A parent at my school had hired her for something completely unrelated. A workplace dispute. Nothing to do with divorce, nothing to do with Travis. But in the course of her research, Rosario came across a lawsuit filed against a construction company, Fowler Contracting, my ex-husband's company. The lawsuit had nothing to do with me either. A subcontractor dispute filed 2 years after my divorce was finalized. But in the court filings, there was a financial disclosure, a sworn valuation. Fowler Contracting, as of that filing, was worth just over $1.2 million. Rosario recognized the name from a conversation months earlier. I'd mentioned Travis in passing, the way you mention an ex-husband when his name comes up. She called me. "This might be nothing," she said, "but I think you should see this." It was not nothing. I sat at my kitchen table, the same table with the filing printed in front of me. And I read the valuation 3 times. $1.2 million. 2 years after my divorce. 2 years after Travis told me the company wasn't worth fighting over. I thought about every version of barely breaking even he had ever said to me. I thought about how carefully he'd said it. Not a lie, exactly. He never said the company was worthless. He just never corrected what I assumed. There is a difference between those two things. And I would spend the next several months learning exactly where the law draws that line. I called a family law solicitor the next morning. Her name is Margaret Sutherland. She has been practicing for over 30 years, and she read the filing twice before she said a single word. When she finally spoke, said something I have not forgotten. A settlement built on a false picture of the assets isn't a settlement. It's a starting point for a different conversation. She explained that divorce settlements can be reopened when one party fails to disclose material financial information, not because a business simply grew after the fact, but because Travis's own filing showed the company was substantially more valuable at the time of our divorce than he represented to me. The gap wasn't growth, it was concealment. Margaret filed a motion to reopen the property division. What followed was slower than I expected and more thorough than I could have managed on my own. Financial records going back 5 years. Contracts that were active, some of them signed during the exact months Travis and I were finalizing our divorce. Equipment purchases he made the same year he told me the business couldn't afford new equipment. None of it was hidden in the sense of forged documents or secret accounts. It was hidden in the much simpler sense of never being shown to me at all. Travis's solicitor, a man named Derek Morrison, argued that a business's value naturally fluctuates, that Travis wasn't obligated to predict the company's future success, and that I was trying to claim a share of growth that happened after the marriage ended. It was a good argument. It was also not what the evidence showed. Margaret walked the court through the timeline, contract by contract, and it became clear that the company wasn't growing after our divorce. It was already thriving during it. Travis had simply chosen not to tell me. The hearing to reopen the case took place months after that first phone call from Rosario. I remember sitting in the courtroom and feeling strangely calm, which surprised me, because I have never once in my life felt calm before a difficult conversation. But I had Margaret's timeline. I had the sworn filing. I had a company that Travis himself had valued at $1.2 million in a lawsuit that had nothing to do with our marriage, which meant he couldn't argue. This time that the number was inflated or unfair. He had put that number in writing himself under oath for an entirely different case. There was no version of events where that filing was wrong and convenient for him at the same time. The judge asked Travis directly why he had described the company as barely breaking even. During our divorce proceedings, when contracts on file showed otherwise, he said, and I will give him this, he didn't try to claim he'd lied. He said he built that company from nothing with his own hands over 15 years. And some part of him never fully accepted that I had a legal claim to it, no matter what the law said. It wasn't an excuse, but it was, at least, honest about what he'd actually been protecting. The court found that Travis had failed to disclose a material asset during the original proceedings and reopened the property division. Fowler Contracting was reassessed at its true value at the time of our divorce. I was awarded an equitable share, not half, but a substantial portion reflecting what I would have received had the truth been on the table 3 years earlier. The court also ordered Travis to cover a significant portion of my legal fees, on the basis that I shouldn't have had to pay to uncover information that was legally required to be disclosed in the first place. I want to tell you what it felt like walking out of that courthouse, because it wasn't triumph. Exactly. It was something quieter. Priya was waiting for me on the steps. She'd taken the day off school to be there, which is the kind of thing Priya does without making it a big deal. She didn't ask how it went. She just looked at my face and said, "Okay, bestie, good. Let's get lunch." And we did. We sat at a diner 2 blocks from the courthouse, and I ate a grilled cheese sandwich, and I felt happy. Really happy for the first time in 3 years. Like the story of my marriage had an accurate ending instead of a convenient one. Here's what I think about most. Now, when I tell people this story, it wasn't a forensic accountant who found the truth. It wasn't months of suspicious digging through bank statements. It was a phone call about a case that had nothing to do with me, from a woman who happened to remember my ex-husband's name. I didn't go looking for the truth. The truth found me because it turns out concealment has a way of surfacing eventually, whether or not anyone is looking for it. I used to think that meant I got lucky. Margaret told me something different near the end of the process that I've held on to since. She said the company's own success is what exposed it. Travis couldn't grow the business without leaving a paper trail somewhere for someone eventually. The bigger the concealment, the more places it has to show up. I still teach grade 4. I still check my numbers twice. But I don't assume anymore that the numbers someone hands me are the whole picture, especially when the person handing them to me once shared my last name. Thank you for staying with me through this one. I've been asking myself something since it happened. And I want to ask you too, how do you know when trust turns into a blind spot? Let me know in the comments.